How can we make a sphere look three-dimensional? The outline of a sphere is almost always a circle because it's the only form that generally doesn't change with the viewpoint. Putting it in a box doesn't help, it still looks flat, but we do have some tools. We could make a sphere look 3D by cutting it in half so that we see the inside and outside, by shading it, by adding texture, or by drawing the elliptical substructure. In this video, I'll draw these 4 shapes step by step: the football, the egg, the globe with its longitudes and latitudes, and the beach ball, which is the hardest one. One approach is to use 3 planes oriented horizontally, vertically, and this one goes toward the distance, all perpendicular to each other. To draw this, find the midpoints of the sides of the box and connect these midpoints together to make one of the planes. Then insert the ellipses, and you'll notice that they all have different degrees of roundness. And this is the final shape that you get. If you only show the visible parts of these 2 internal ellipses, you'd have contour lines that suggest 3D form. And these are the 4 possibilities with the green and the blue ellipse. In this case, it looks like we're looking down at the ball from the upper right. Over here, it looks like we're looking down from the upper left, and so on. So not only do these contour lines suggest that the form is 3-dimensional, but it also indicates the viewpoint. We can use a similar approach to draw an egg. In this case, I moved this blue plane forward so it doesn't hit the middle of the form. Again, I put in all the ellipses. The hard part is doing this egg shape, so I'll show you how to do that. To draw an oval shape, we'll start with an ellipse, which is symmetrical around both of its axes. Now we'll add to that another ellipse that has a different degree of roundness. Here, this one is more circular than the green ellipse. And together, they make this egg shape. Similarly, you could add to the ellipse a circle, and again, having them share the same minor axis, and you end up with a slightly different egg shape. Contour lines indicate that the form is 3D and helps show the viewpoint, as I've discussed. In addition, it helps you place markings on like a football or some other type of ball, and helps with shading. Reflected light, for example, will hit the underside of this egg below the magenta line. The third form we'll discuss is the globe. To find the longitudes, draw a circle above the sphere so that they are the same width. Then divide the circle into equal parts. Bring lines down from the corners of the circle down to the equator on the sphere, and that's the beginning of each longitudinal line, which go from this blue dot to each pole of the globe. They are the widest in the middle, and they get increasingly narrow as they approach the edges. You could also cut a globe in half, and the longitude then would be connected to lines that go to the center of the ellipse, and they would again be wider in the center and narrower on the edges. To find the latitudes, place the circle this time next to the sphere. Again, divide the circle into equal parts and transfer that level to the sphere, and I've marked these levels with pink dots. Each horizontal ellipse or latitude starts at a pink dot, and make the ones in the middle wider than those at the edges. This is the final globe with its longitudes and latitudes. To determine how wide the ellipses should be, enclose them in boxes as I show here. The blue ellipse, which is at the base of the box, is wider than the yellow one on top. A more interesting ball would have one pole visible and the other not. To draw this beach ball, start with a circle divided into 6 equal parts. Then use those lines as major axes for the 3 ellipses. And have these ellipses differ in degree of roundness so they look like they're on different planes. Notice that they all intersect at the poles, which I mark with these black dots, and they touch the edge of the circle twice. The result is that each end is equally divided into 6 parts. Color the beach ball so that you emphasize the lines in front and so it's clear which parts are seen and which are not. A watermelon could be drawn the same way, with spaces between the lines being largest in the middle and smallest around the edges. To transfer an image onto a curved grid, divide the original image into a grid composed of squares, and then transfer each square to the corresponding square on the curved grid. So try drawing a ball of string using contour lines going in all directions. And take a look at my book, Ellen's Guide to Drawing Shapes, found on Amazon. Please leave comments on this site or using my email. See you next time.